Hi everyone, my name is Terry Westwell and today is Tuesday, which means it's time to discuss our book of the week, which is The Things We Leave Unfinished by Rebecca Yarros. So first, this is a spoiler-free section, so if you haven't read this book yet, don't worry about it, it won't be spoiled for you here. There will be some spoiler-related things I might want to discuss, but that'll be later on in the video and you will get plenty of warning. If you'd like to join in on any of the discussions, send me your thoughts, comments, or even a short video clip of you discussing the book, then I'll list the next upcoming 4 books in the description below. I rated this book 4 stars. I really enjoyed it. However, I wouldn't say that it was up there with some of Rebecca Yarros' other books like The Last Letter or Fourth Wing, which both books destroyed me emotionally. That said, I do think that this was a really beautiful story. Honestly, there wasn't a big reason as to why I didn't rate it higher. It's not like there was anything particularly wrong with the book, it's just the vibe isn't my usual style. This one gravitates a lot more towards historical romance and family drama than some of her other books, and while that's not something I would usually gravitate towards, I still thoroughly enjoyed reading it. Okay, so quick summary. This book follows Georgia, who inherits an unfinished manuscript from her late grandmother Scarlett, who was a famous romance author. Now, to publish the book, she has to work alongside best-selling author Noah, despite the fact that the two can't really stand each other. As Noah pieces together the unfinished story, the novel kind of switches between Georgia and Noah in the present day and Scarlett's wartime romance in the past. If I had to compare this to any other book, then I'd probably say that it sits alongside The Last Letter with a strong emotional impact, but the dual timeline kind of reminds me a little bit of books like One Day and other romances that explores love across different periods of time. Like, if you enjoy an emotional romance with family secrets, history, bittersweet love, then I think that this one could be a great pick. One thing that really surprised me was just how much I did enjoy the dual timeline. Normally, jumping between different time periods really isn't my sort of thing. I like to stick with one set of characters and one story, but here it really worked. Instead of feeling like I was just sort of waiting to get back to one timeline, I felt equally invested in both. I genuinely wanted to know what had happened in the past, just as much as I was looking forward to finding out what was going to happen in the present. And I think that that balance is really hard to find, but I think that Rebecca Yarros does a really good job. I really liked the characters throughout the book. Both romances had chemistry, and despite both the relationships being very different, they both felt very believable. Watching Scarlett's life unfold as we work towards discovering maybe why her novel had remained unfinished created this underlying emotional tension throughout the whole book. So far, I found that Rebecca Yarros is incredibly good at making relationships feel genuine, and this book is no exception. The pacing worked really well for me. Despite the dual timeline, it never felt confusing or slow. Each chapter revealed just enough to want me to continue reading more, and before I knew it, I was completely invested in both stories. The ending genuinely caught me off guard. I did not see it coming, and it managed to be heartbreaking and beautiful all at the same time. It's one of those endings that manages to completely recontextualize everything you've just read and has you thinking about the characters long after you've read the last page. As I mentioned earlier, the only real reason why I didn't rate it 5 stars is purely down to personal preference. I mean, historical romance is not my usual go-to genre, so I just don't think it hit me quite as hard as some of her other books have, but that's completely a me issue rather than a criticism of the book itself. So as for the question, would I recommend the book? Yes, absolutely, especially if you enjoy an emotional romance that is more than just about the relationship itself. If you like stories that explore grief and family and legacy alongside that romance, then I think you'll really enjoy it. Will I be reading any more by this author? Definitely. She's quickly becoming one of those authors whose books I will happily pick up because I know that I'm probably going to have a good time. Or maybe not a good time because some of her books are really sad, but I know I'm probably going to really enjoy it. So earlier on in the video, I said that you get plenty of warning for any upcoming spoilers. Now this is that moment, so if you haven't read this book yet, I would suggest going doing that first, because beyond this point, there will probably be spoilers. One of my favourite parts was how the dual timeline came together, because as someone who doesn't usually love multiple timelines, especially if one of them is any sort of historical setting, I found that Scarlett's story was just as compelling as the present day romance. I was really looking forward to reading those past chapters because I wanted to know what had happened and why her story had remained unfinished. And then that ending happened, and I mean, it's Rebecca Yarros, so I kind of should have expected that it wasn't going to be super straightforward, but I was not expecting it. It was heartbreaking, but in this way that sort of felt quiet and subtle, despite the fact that it was such a big twist. Like, it became more than just about this unfinished manuscript. It became about unfinished love stories and unfinished dreams and the lasting impression and impact that people leave behind. Rebecca Yarros has a real talent for writing emotional endings, and while this one didn't completely destroy me like the last letter, it still left me feeling really emotional, and it was sad and hopeful and beautiful all at once, and I just thought it was a really fitting way to end the story. So overall, The Things They Leave Unfinished was a beautiful, emotional romance with characters I genuinely cared about and an ending that stuck with me long after I'd finished reading. It wasn't quite my favourite Rebecca Yarros book I've ever read, but that's more to do with personal preference than the quality of the book itself. If you are looking for an emotional romance with dual timelines, family secrets, and an ending that really lands, then I'd absolutely recommend this one. But if you've read it, let me know what you thought in the comments below. As always, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you all next week when we'll be discussing It's For Your Own Good by Kate Francis. If you do want to be featured in the video, don't forget to send me your thoughts and comments by Sunday the 16th of August. The following week we'll be discussing A Fate Inked in Blood, but don't forget, if you do need a little bit longer to read a book, we do now list the next 4 books down below along with the discussion dates. That way you can choose the genre that best suits you and the best time frame to read it in. So if you like romance, fantasy, or even thriller, basically anything fiction book related, then I suggest you head on over to the channel's intro video, where you can find out more information on how you can take part in this online book club. We announce books at least 4 weeks in advance, and we accept your bookish feedback in a wide manner of ways. Post your comment below a video, send in a voice note, or even send me a short video clip of you discussing the book. Alternatively, you can just send me a direct message.